Hello and welcome to Edukemy's YouTube channel. My name is Harsh Singh, and in this video we shall discuss the current affairs for today, that is 27th of April 2022. And before we begin, what we have to be studying today are trilateral development cooperation between India, UK and the private corporations of the world, CMI Labour Report of India, Elimination of Malaria Program by 2030, Project Sajal, which has been initiated by Government of Haryana, Carbon Neutral Panchayats, Step Ahead Program of Swiggy, Hatti Community in News, and Clean Drinking Water as the case study of the day. So let's start this discussion. And before we begin, let me welcome all of you here. Hello Ashish, Kriti, welcome Bhabani, hi Hima, and Kim, welcome to all of you. Hi Amlan, good evening to you as well. So let's begin this. But before we begin, we have the quote of the day. Today's quote is, in a world full of drones and bots, be a Rambo or a GI Jane. The world is full of automatic machines. We are ourselves victims of machines like telephones, and we have teleprompters to help us aid our work. We have machines which keep on aiding, but then the examination demands us to be human. Examination demands us to be humane, and that's why in a world full of drones and bots, technology savvy people, we have to be Rambo, who's dependent on themselves, one-man army. And if you are also following females, then yes, GI Jane, following and leading like a warrior, right? So quote by myself here. And if you like this initiative, share some love through likes, comments and shares. Let's begin. First initiative that we understand today is Trilateral Development Cooperation. This cooperation is between India, UK and any third world, any country around the world. The third partnership between India, UK and a private stakeholder. That could be any country or any private stakeholder from the developed nations. The point of agenda is to create infrastructure in Indo-Pacific region or any other area around the world in the developing countries. So right now we have had projects like Belt and Road Initiative by China, the Global Gateway by European Union, Asia-Africa Economic Corridor, in which India, Japan are developing infrastructure in Africa. Along with that, we have Sagar Initiative by India itself and G7 Initiative of Build Back Better Initiative, right? So amidst all this, India says, let's partner with Great Britain, and along with that, one private stakeholder from any of the countries. That could be any developed country like Japan, South Korea, Germany, France, Netherlands. Come on, let's join us, and then let's create infrastructure in developing world projects, right? How will it get help? It will get help from India and UK through some level of association, some partnerships in pounds. They would be funding 75 million pounds over next 14 years. However, this amount is not sufficient, and therefore blended funding will be required. Start using these words, blended funding. So the private corporation will also put in some funds. The funds given by the countries will only be indicators that governments are also having some stakes. See, this is the difference between the BRI model and the model that the countries like India, Japan have. We have partnerships in losses and in gains as well. But China has a debt model, a debt trap model. So this is what Trilateral Development Cooperation is about, right? A smaller project, right? But then going to, it might grow in future. Now see, the important thing about India partnering with European countries is this, that Europe is one of the largest FDI distributors to India. Europe gives a huge amount of FDI to India every year. And Europe is one nation which participates in FDI in manufacturing sector. In fact, all developed countries from European areas, they fund India, they fund China as well, to be able to have better manufacturing. Look at vehicles on the road. Either they are Japanese or Korean, South Korean, or they are European and American as well, of course. But then, and look at the electronics available in the market, right? And either they are European products or products from Southeast Asia or East Asia. Similarly, medicinal products. Look at the kind of defense imports that we have. We have had defense import from France, from Germany, from Sweden, right? right from Bofors to Rafale to many other things, they are all European made, right? Imagine the kind of vaccinations that we have. The Covishield manufactured in UK, also associated with India, absolutely. But then Pfizer manufactured in Germany. Similarly, if you look at many other products as well, Europe is the one which has been manufacturing it, and Europe believes in partnerships. It wants to put in money, and it also wants an alternate destination. India is the destination. That's what this partnership is about, pushing it a little ahead. So global innovation partnership model is what India is looking at. India is also wanting to partner with Indian startup companies to promote this model. So all right, this is a great initiative. The best part about this is that we are trying to help the developing world. So simple technologies like developing an e-bazaar, online bazaar, which African nations wouldn't have as of now, developing these kind of ways in which critical goods and services could be given to developing countries. See, we need to have a China plus one model where one nation which can alternate in providing what China has been providing to the world, that is required. Currently, EU and China indulge in a trade of almost $800 billion, and India-EU trade is hardly $100 billion, hardly, just reaching $100 billion. So, and EU is looking for alternate partner. Only a chunk of this, only 10% of decrease of trade between EU and China could lead to almost doubling of trade with India, and EU is ready for this, India is ready for this. So this is the reason that we have started to discuss editorials and issues on India-EU partnerships and India-UK partnership as well. Very, very important. All right. So accordingly, if you see, this is a very good image for us to look at. USA, which has got the highest of GDP of the world, contribution of the world, is manufacturing around 25% of world's products. And China is the second largest manufacturer. India is amongst the top, the 6th or 7th number, that's what India has, replacing France or UK at times. But then if we need to have a greater percentage, we will have to have more innovations in the country, more innovations, partnering innovations, more technology, more funding, and European Union can provide this. And look at the other image on the other side. This is the one indicating GERD. Remember this word again. I keep on passing on this word. This is gross expenditure in research and development as a percentage of the GDP, gross expenditure in research and development. And India is poised at just 0.7%, as I mentioned previously as well, of GDP, 0.71% of expenditure in research and development as a percentage of GDP. But then the partnering nations, Germany, France, Belgium, Denmark, Korea, Japan, Finland, Sweden, Israel, they are all amongst 2.5 to 4.5%. Imagine this. So India can take leaps in case we use their innovation, in case we have our human resources, in case they start funding us. All they want is for us to create devices and manufacture products. And this is what is called as a partnership which is complementary, because European countries are looking for a partner who can create products for them. India wants to do that. India must do that. All right. And look at China's debt trap diplomacy. So this is where we start comparing what India does, what China does. So China's debt trap diplomacy, places like Myanmar, and then we have Djibouti, Gwadar, Sri Lanka. All these projects are in huge debts. Pakistan's model versus India's model of supporting the development among the nations. So you could compare both of them. But then another crisis here. CMIE report on the labor participation in the country. So CMIE report, this is a think tank, a non-governmental organization which talks about the status of India's economy. All right. Center for Monitoring of Indian Economy, that's what their name is. So they have presented a labor report in which they have spoken about some stark realities that are creeping in Indian economy. So labor force participation rate is the number of persons who are seeking job, and they are in the age bracket. So age bracket is 16 years to 64 years. In this age bracket, if you are seeking job, you will be in the labor force participation rate. All right. India's labor force participation rate has been around 46%. 46%. That means 46% of the population in this particular age group is looking for jobs. Out of 100 people in this age, 46% have been looking for job. right? So almost half of the people are looking for job in the country, and this is a very dismal state of affairs for India. Why? Because other people, what are they doing then? Other people are participating as housewives, or living on rental income, or they are looking forward to further education, right? People preparing for examination, we are in that part. But then this contribution is only rising with time. The people who are not looking for job yet are a part of the workforce, yet are a part of the possible working force. This is a matter of concern. This is what CMIE report mentions. It says simply that the labor force, the people who were seeking job, it shrank from 445 million to 435 million, and the number of people who are in this age bracket is almost 1100 million, which is 110 crores. So 110 crore between the age bracket. However, only 44 crore people looking for job, less than half. Yeah, that is a point of concern. Slowly, what will happen? Slowly, the same population will start to age, and our dependency ratio, which is approximately around 48%, it will increase. The dependency ratio is the ratio of people who are lesser than the working age population or higher than the working age population. So children, small children, or the people who are retired, those people who are dependent as a proportion of the people who are working, right? So this will increase the dependency on the economy and on the people who are working. This is going to be a huge trap for the country. India looks at its demography as demographic dividend for the future. However, if we do not have skilled people, if we do not have people who want to participate in economy, that is going to be a negative factor for India. So this is where we want to counter the other point that the other countries want to invest in a country like India. On the other hand, India is not participating in workforce itself. That's a major concern. See, so women have got different issues as well. So women participation has further declined. Women in the workforce in South Asia, it's a matter of concern. The workforce participation of women has increased around the whole world, apart from few regions. And one of the reasons where there has been a decline is South Asia. This has been a question in UPSC examination, can be asked again. And the workforce participation of women has declined to less than 10%. Less than 10% of women in the working age category are seeking jobs. Others are not. 9 out of 10 women are not seeking jobs. And you can also see this decline proportional in the male workforce as well. The average workforce is 44%. Which is further declined. This is what they have mentioned, right? So dependency of people will increase. Labor force participation rate is also decreasing. Now, students, as I mentioned, homemakers, rental income, elderly people, they are the ones who are contributing to this population. Also, people are getting lagged behind because of the artificial intelligence present. And that is also one reason which could be a contributing factor. Along with that, women have other issues like safety is a concern, time constraints, juggling between work and family life, because of which women give up on jobs, right? And the government here says, the government has come to its defense saying that no, it's not true. This report is absolutely not true, because the way the report has been calculated, they have missed out on some important things. For example, one thing that anybody can miss out on is the huge working force of women, however, not being a part of the organized workforce or not being a part of the labor force, right? So informal employment, people working in internships, people who are working and yet are unpaid for their work, right? Household work. These are economic activities in foreign countries, but not in India. And that is one of the reasons we see lesser formal participation of women, because they are not paid for their work, right? Along with this, the Ministry of Statistics and Programming Implementation says that the workforce has only increased in the country. So they say that workforce earlier was 49% in the country 2017-18, and in 2020 workforce increased to 53%, right? Seeking work, this is not workforce, this is labor force. And in labor force, workforce is the proportion of people who are working in the labor force, right? Who are working. This does not include the non-working people. Labor force includes the people who are seeking jobs as well and who are in jobs. Workforce is only about the people who are employed. Okay. The ministry had also claimed that unemployment has decreased. We had criticized this report in number of innumerable times, because though the employment, self-employment would have increased, women would have participated in self-employment in rural areas, people might have migrated from the certain jobs, from the paid jobs to rural countrysides, yet the quality of employment, the certainty of finances would not have been there, and yet still being calculated as a part of employment, right? So this is what they have mentioned, and another criticism is that of this report is that they did not prepare a frame of households of sample village and block of the survey for the survey. So the sampling was not done accurately according to the government. In any case, we can still criticize the labor force in the country, which is less than half, right? Has less than half of the population. In foreign countries, this is not the proportion. People start working from the age 16 and 18. In fact, one argument provided by the government was this as well, that many people who are in secondary education or tertiary education, there are almost amounting to 10 crore students who are in technical, non-technical, graduation or secondary education, that is class 10th and 12th. And this proportion is in the working age category above 16 years of age, and yet they are not being calculated because they are studying. All right, this is the difference. So we have understood both the sides. However, we can still criticize all of it. And moving ahead with the next article, elimination of malaria by 2030. Malaria day before yesterday, and this is where the government has announced, the Minister of Health has announced that India will be malaria free by 2030. But ऐसे थोड़ी हो जाएगा. We have just declaration will not make it possible. We have to have interventions of multiple kinds. The first program is to ensure that India will not detect any case of malaria by 2027, and if they do not detect any case for 3 more years, it will be a malaria free country. All right, right now approximately 124 districts are malaria free. They are reporting 0 malaria cases in the country. However, what we need are things more than this. We need infrastructure, we need labs where we can find out the prevalence of malaria in every constituency or the smaller limits where malaria is endemic, where it is a cause of concern. And there's another thing, we have to start working on vaccination. There is a new vaccination, we had discussed this, I remember, and this vaccination developed called as Mosquirix, right? This Mosquirix has been developed, and it will be used worldwide, especially African nations. The potency of this is not very huge. However, it is the first successful vaccination developed for malaria disease. Now, what is considerable for a country like India is that in Southeast Asia, tropical countries, India is the most impacted country, and India bears 80% of the malaria burden in the South and Southeast Asian region, 80% burden. So India is one of the countries deeply impacted, and India must have to act better than before. And this is not just about malaria prevention. It is not just about diagnosis and cure and vaccination. This is also about personal hygiene and cleanliness. If we have cleanliness, this is what the minister said, malaria won't be here, and we will be using technology to aid this. For example, with the help of information technology, with the help of softwares and apps, we will be able to find out which are the hotspots for malaria prevention and which are the hotspots for malaria prevalence. Accordingly, we will be passing on those kind of diagnostic centers, labs, infrastructure in those places first to decrease the cases. Preventive strategies will also be used. Preventive strategies, for example, non-accumulation of water, as simple as that, right? So these are some things that can be used to have elimination of malaria from the country. All right. And then injecting irradiated sporozoitis. All right, so this is another way. We inject something in the body which leads to transferring antibodies from malaria immune adults to others, right? So people who are malaria immune and transferring antibodies from their bodies to other bodies, this can also help in reduction of malaria prevalence. All right. India has seen decline of malaria cases. So decline of 86% of malaria cases, decline in number of deaths, that's true. But then still elimination of malaria, a bigger target for us by 2030. Moving ahead to, yes, 30% effectiveness. World Malaria Day was celebrated possibly yesterday or day before yesterday. It was either of them. Project Sajal. Project Sajal has been news is because the government of Haryana has instituted quite a few water stations at school facilities. So Project Sajal tries to build infrastructure for potable water at school facilities. This is why in news. Now these are the summer and hot times. This is where the government is mandated to provide potable, that means drinking water, at all institutions. So whether it is a protest that has been carried out or public spaces, government is mandated to provide free drinking water. These have been Supreme Court rulings and a part of government's initiatives as well. So provision in schools is a mandate. Government is mandated to provide drinking water which is in the safe zone with a safe pH level, with the mineral level that are present in the water in a safe zone. So one thing that they have to maintain is the pH standards 6.5 to 8.5, right? So this pH is not something that is easily achievable. Many of the water samples that we have contain high degree of salt. They also contain articles like pesticides, sulfates, fluorides, bacteria, pharmaceuticals, chlorine, and whatnot, contamination. And for the same thing, reverse osmosis is used as a technology to aid the simplified and drinking water. So RO technology has been applied here in several projects. Also, potable drinking water also means Sheetal Peyajal. Sheetal means thanda, Pey means potable, and Jal is water. So during summer times, one cannot give the hot water. This is not good for the human health itself, and that's why cool water has been provided. So hot potable water has been supplemented and converted into cold water. Now this is where I question something here. The water station is just aside the toilets. This is what it seems to me. So we have to segregate these kind of initiatives. Infrastructure for toilets should be a little away, further from the toilets, right? What if somebody cleans their hand, right? So these are the issues which must be avoided. Wash, water, sanitation and hygiene must be proactively maintained in school projects. This is what the children will learn and further utilize in their lives, right? Second term in news is carbon neutral panchayat. Can you people name the name of name this panchayat? What is the name of this panchayat? This is a panchayat from Jammu, and this has become the India's first fully powered solar energy village, which is carbon neutral. So this is showing the light of the day for the whole country, for all the villages in the in India, and this is where we have 500 kilowatt solar energy project instituted. Not only that this is self-sustainable in energy production, all the records, village records have been digitized, right? And all the benefits have and programs have been given to this scheme, government scheme. This is where I would like to remind you of today's editorial. One of the editorial today is on a government scheme which is called as Antyodaya, Mission Antyodaya. Mission Antyodaya is all about passing on convergence of schemes, convergence of all the government schemes. Water scheme should be complemented with sanitation scheme, complementing the road development scheme with provision of hospitals and health facilities and education facilities. If health facilities are made, we cannot, and there are no roads, people will not be able to utilize that. Similarly, complementing of schemes at various levels. For example, if MNREGS jobs are reducing, if government's outlay is less there, we must increase the outlay in self-employment schemes. So this is what is called as convergence of schemes, which was initiated in the year 2017-18 with the help of Mission Antyodaya, right? So convergence of schemes. They have converged all these schemes in the village Pali. Thank you for mentioning this name of the village in Jammu. And this is how we achieve end results. Now, convergence of schemes is not something only done by Antyodaya Mission. This has been done by various other projects. For example, the village constituencies being owned by members of parliament. All of those schemes also work towards the same. So carbon neutral panchayat, first one in India, showing the light for all the other villages. Step ahead program, Swiggy's program. What do they say? They say that they would want to convert the working staff into managers. People who have worked here for 2 or more years, they would be converted into, some of them would be converted into managers. So this is a great development program where the organization is moving from contract based employment to people with fixed salary based employment as well. So great initiative where hard work and commitment, dedication and loyalty is rewarded, right? So Swiggy has been a major employer for contract based employment in the country in urban areas, and they are into better projects. So this becomes a good case study for me. Not only this, I remember having covered one good scheme by Swiggy, that was No question asked 2-day leave policy for women, right? So for their benefit, no question will be asked on 2 days for their holidays for Swiggy employees. Great step ahead. Okay. Hatti community from Himachal Pradesh has been demanding scheduled tribe status for a lot of time from Himachal Pradesh. So government has finally said, fine, we'll give you a scheduled tribe status. Hatti community, the word Hatti comes from heart, right? So people who participate in traditional huts where items, commodities are traded, they will be given scheduled tribe status. This is what the central government has declared. The next one is clean drinking water. Great. See, water in urban areas, rural areas is present in 2 ways when it gets contaminated. One is the black water and the other one is grey water. Both of them can be treated. Grey water can be treated and it can be utilized for some activities. Black water can also be treated and utilized. So black water is the toilet water, right? Sewage water. And grey water is all the water that is generated from kitchen and from the toilets as well, but and from the bathroom as well, just that it is not the toilet water. So this water might have increased soap content, might have vegetative content. It can be treated and passed on for certain activities like agriculture, like farming, like greening, like cleaning of vessels, cleaning of vehicles. Similarly, the black water can also be passed for treatment, and this is where a project initiated by an organization called as Absolute Waters, they are into the same project of filtering domestic water, drainage, industrial sewage water, right? And this is what they do, and they are helping this do with the help of solar energy. That's a great project. So the organization named as Absolute Waters doing a fabulous job in cleaning water. This is how you can present a case study of how water can be utilized by grey water management or black water management. This is where we come to the conclusion of today's current affairs. We will meet in the feature news for today itself, that is on India-UK relationship. And you have a doubt, you please present it in the comment section. We will get back to you. Let me see if there are questions here. Tiyasha, Kim, Amlan, Hima, Gopal, Ima, I am a PSC. Welcome. Welcome Nadeem. Welcome all of you. All right. The questions, please put them down and we will get back to you. Let's quickly meet in the feature news for today, which is on India-UK relationship. Thank you for participating.